This is Booked for Drama, where stories burn, hearts break, the tea is always hot and never a part two. Today we're diving into After Erasing My Love, the Scumbag CEO Regrets It. Let's go. Chapter 1. I forgot to text good night to my boyfriend, and he broke up with me. Again, it's always about that stupid internship of yours. Sarah, I swear, I could make sure you never work in this town again. I'd been pulling overtime for 3 months straight, all for a shot at a full-time position. I hung up, completely drained. Then a barrage of comments popped up in my head. OMG, she didn't even apologize and hung up first. How could she do that to our boyfriend, Aiden? Aiden stayed up an extra half hour just waiting for her good night. He acts tough, but he's always desperate for her attention. He's such a softie. He even called his dad to help her with the internship, but he'd never tell her that. He's just avoidant. He needs constant reassurance. As I hesitated, I got a message from HR. Sarah, all the full-time spots in Chicago are filled. Would you be interested in a position in Austin? Austin? Before I could even process it, more furious messages flashed up in my head. Is that internship more important than me? Sarah, we're done. No, you're done. Just wait for the email telling you you're fired. I typed out an explanation and hit send. Instantly, a red exclamation point appeared. Aiden blocked me. It was probably the 10th time he'd done that. But the internal comments were all siding with Aiden. Oh, Aiden's being dramatic again. He's just gonna spend the whole night refreshing his phone, waiting for her to unblock him. This is so sweet. She needs to add him back ASAP. He is dying inside. I feel so bad for Aiden. Aiden is just a jerk sometimes. He loves her, but his mom wants him to find someone who grew up in the same state as him. But he said he wants to stay with Sarah. If that's not love, then I don't know what is. I couldn't be bothered reading anymore. This wasn't the first time Aiden had blocked me. The last time? We were on vacation together in Europe. He wanted to see some traditional shows, but we were 5 minutes late because of traffic. Aiden blew up, blaming me for not planning hotter. If you'd reminded me to leave 3 hours earlier, we wouldn't have been late. Why didn't you check the weather? Why didn't you research the route properly? You clearly don't care about what I want. We're over. It was late at night, in a foreign city. We were in some dangerous neighborhood on the edge of town. He just left me there. He took all our cash. I didn't know the language and then I saw something about some tourists getting kidnapped. I was terrified, so I sent him a bunch of messages, apologizing and begging him to come back. But halfway through, he blocked me. Then some creepy guys started walking towards me. I went pale with fear. Luckily, 2 American tourists happened to walk by and help me out. When I got back to the hotel, Aiden was sound asleep. He wouldn't answer the door. I knew that if I got the front desk to open it, he'd start a fight with me. I was too exhausted to argue, so I just curled up on a lobby couch and slept there. The next day, Aiden came to find me. He saw how exhausted I looked and immediately apologized. I was just angry last night. The breakup was just something I said. Sarah, I'll never do that again, I just have low self-esteem. Will you forgive me? Babe, just look at me once, and I'll always do what you want. But later on, I was always the one apologizing, desperately trying to please him. He'd just say, an apology needs to be sincere. I don't see you reflecting. He practically wanted me to get on my knees. 4 years. We were about to graduate from college. A lot of couples break up then. Maybe it was time for me and Aiden to end it too. Chapter 2. A few days later, the overtime finally ended. I went back to campus. I saw Aiden right outside my dorm. I wasn't delusional enough to think he was there to see me. Sure enough, the next moment, my roommate, Chelsea, came running out. As she approached Aiden, she suddenly tripped and fell right into his arms. The internal comments arrived as scheduled. He's totally trying to make Sarah jealous. He just sees her as a friend from home. There's no romance. Before my eyes, Aiden swept Chelsea up in a princess carry, saying he'd take her to the infirmary. Chelsea blushed, pouted, and said, I don't need the infirmary. Weren't we supposed to go to Six Flags? Aiden, you're not backing out, are you? Aiden glanced at me, then said, of course not. He asked out the other girl, and now he regrets it. Lol, too funny. He wants Sarah to stop him. He'd dump Chelsea and become her puppy in a heartbeat. Chelsea's just a plot device. At the freshman orientation party, Chelsea had been crushing on Aiden ever since he performed his dance on stage. Even after Aiden and I got together, she hadn't given up. She always spoke to Aiden in a southern accent. She didn't know I understood it perfectly. Aiden had said, I can't even understand your family. How could we ever have a future together? That's why I studied it for a long time. My degree didn't require me to stay in Chicago, but I worked like crazy to stay because I wanted a future with Aiden. I had told him all that, but he seemed to have forgotten. A few hours later, I saw Chelsea's Instagram post. Pictures from Six Flags. Each one is more intimate than the last. Someone commented, isn't Aiden dating Sarah? Chelsea replied, she's just a simp for him. When has Aiden ever admitted that they were together? Ask Aiden. A few seconds later, Aiden replied with a simple, yeah. My breath almost stopped. All my compromises, in his eyes, were just me being a simp. Maybe he didn't think that was enough. That night, I got a message from Chelsea. A video. It was inside a hotel room. Chelsea asked Aiden, have you ever taken Sarah to Six Flags? Aiden, wearing a bathrobe, walked up to the camera. He scoffed. Why would I talk about that basic bitch, when I'm on a date with you? I had mentioned wanting Aiden to take me to Six Flags. But he said that it was only for children and that the tickets were ridiculously expensive. But today, he showed me that he could make an effort for others, just not for me. As he spoke, Aiden glanced at the camera. He knew what Chelsea was up to. He suddenly smiled and wrapped his arm around Chelsea's waist. The video was cut off. At the same time, I got a text from Aiden. Bring over that half-empty pack of Trojans I bought. Chapter 3. Aiden sent me the hotel address. I thought about it for a long time and decided to go. To put an end to these 4 years. The internal comments started rushing again. He pushed her away after the video. He doesn't want to hook up with Chelsea, he's only thinking about Sarah. He's just waiting for her to come to him. I guarantee, the moment she gets there, he'll kick Chelsea out. She'll be the one using them. I knocked for a long time, but no one answered. I could hear laughter and roughhousing through the door. The internal comments said it was all an act for my benefit. In the class group chat, Chelsea suddenly dropped a livestream link. The stream was called, Simp Gets Played. The camera was pointed at the hotel room. Before I could react, the door was thrown open. Chelsea's face appeared in front of me. My face appeared on the livestream. Chelsea, holding up the phone camera, said to the stream, "Everyone, look, in the 21st century, we still have groupies." Blatant humiliation. I raised my hand and slapped her phone out of her hand. Aiden, who hadn't said a word, grabbed my hand. "What the hell, you wanna fight now?" Apologized to Chelsea. He was happy to see Sarah. He's doing all of this just to manipulate her. He is just trying to get a reaction. She just needs to stand up to him. Aiden grabbed my hand tightly, squeezing it hard. As I struggled, Chelsea raised her hand and slapped me across the face. Smack. The sound echoed in the hotel hallway. Aiden's face looked shocked for a second. Chelsea said cheerfully, "Okay, I forgive you. That was the latest model, you're lucky." But clearly, her phone had fallen on the soft hotel carpet, not even scratching a corner. Aiden let go of my hand, looking uneasy. "You hit her first." At that moment, I felt like I'd lost all my strength. All the arguments were pointless. The respect I was fighting for ended up just being a joke. I was silent for a moment, then pulled out the half-empty pack of Trojans from my pocket and handed it over. Aiden's face darkened. "Sarah, what do you mean by this?" I smiled a little. "Aren't you the one who wanted me to bring them?" Aiden's expression was terrifyingly cold. The next moment, he pulled Chelsea into his arms in front of me. Chelsea poked Aiden's chest with her finger. "Aiden, I'm not part of your little love games." Aiden snorted. "Love games? She's not even worthy to be near me. It disgusts me to even look at her." I watched the scene with a blank face. Aiden's eyes flashed with a barely noticeable hint of panic. "Fine, Sarah, you're gonna regret this." The words seemed squeezed from between his teeth. The door slammed shut in front of me. The internal comments exploded. "What's going on with Sarah? Isn't she here to make up?" He's really pissed this time. He's giving up his body just to make her beg. No, how could he lose his virginity? It's all Sarah's fault for not apologizing. He's just pretending to make her jealous, even if he really sleeps with Chelsea, it's just so he knows how to be with Sarah. Skip this part if you don't want to see it. My stomach churned, and I felt nauseous. If love required one person to constantly give in and repeatedly declare their loyalty, then I didn't want it. I had no reason to stay here. I took out my phone and replied to the HR email. "I accept the offer. I'm excited to join the team in Austin." Chapter 4. Jobs were hard to find. Besides Chelsea, my other 2 roommates were either studying for their masters or taking civil service exams. My internship was with a top company in the industry. HR said that Austin was just in need of a new person with relevant project experience. But when I got to the office, I saw Chelsea sitting at my old desk. A coworker told me that the CEO hired her himself. Rumor has it, she didn't even have an interview. The CEO just made the decision. I learned from the comments that the CEO was Aiden's long-divorced father. I had gone through 3 rounds of interviews for that internship. I didn't do well, and I was nearly in tears. At a dinner with friends, Aiden comforted me by saying, "Who cares about that company anyway? I don't want you working there." His friend said, "Aiden, didn't you say you knew someone who worked there? Why don't you ask them to put in a good word for Sarah?" I was stunned, a glimmer of hope flickering in my chest. Aiden righteously said, "I won't do that. I'm not going to use connections. That's embarrassing. If you want to get in, you need to rely on your skills, or no one will respect you." I nodded, he had a point. I even felt ashamed of my momentary lapse in judgment. Luckily, I later got a notification that I had passed the interview. But now, Chelsea was sitting there, it was like a slap in the face. The coworker continued to say, "I heard that the CEO's son, who he hasn't talked to for years, suddenly contacted him for his girlfriend. He said that if his girlfriend got the internship, he'd go to his dad's birthday party." Office assignments were up to the manager, so I found an empty desk to sit at. Even though I was trying to back down, Aiden's revenge was relentless. He texted me, "Looks like you lost your desk? I'm not a forgiving person. If you cross me, you'll pay. Wanna bet that I'll make sure your full-time offer is ruined?" Not long after, the CEO walked over to me and said, "Sarah, give your project to Chelsea." The project only had one final step. I had been working overtime to finish it, without even taking a weekend off. In addition to finishing my work, I often helped other coworkers. But I never complained. I learned a lot. That was what I would use to get a full-time position in Austin. I stood up and said, "Sir, I was a part of this project from the beginning to the end. I don't want to give it to someone else." Chelsea looked at me, feigning surprise and said, "Sarah, you're just an intern. What can you do? Don't take all the credit for yourself." The CEO frowned when he heard that. "An intern doesn't get a say here. If you don't want to, you can leave." The comments appeared again. "If Sarah just apologizes to Aiden, everything will be hers. The project is hers, and her future father-in-law's approval. After all, Aiden is his only son. Don't act like this, Sarah, or you'll lose everything, and you'll regret it. The night I quit my job, I got a call from Aiden's friend. Sarah, why haven't you and Aiden made up yet? A little fighting is good, but if you keep fighting, it'll get boring. You know how much Aiden likes you. Men are proud, women should always give him respect. Before he could finish, I hung up. Why is she so clueless? Does Aiden not seem a little too much? I'll be fair, Aiden has no flaws, except that he's a bit arrogant. She's lucky he even likes her. Lucky? What was so great about Aiden? What was so good about him, besides his height? I smiled bitterly as I looked at the comments. I had been charmed by Aiden's arrogance. That was before we dated. He was ahead of me in line and took the last fried chicken leg at the cafeteria. When he saw my disappointment, he gave it to me, saying that he didn't like it. His roommates were joking about it. They often brought it up, saying that Aiden fell in love with me at first sight and gave me the chicken leg. Another time, there was an English speech contest. Aiden was good at English. The counselor wanted to give him the spot from our class, but he wanted to give it to me. I said that we could compete fairly. But Aiden sang a song in English, which was the same as admitting defeat. Everyone praised him for his gentlemanly behavior, saying that he was willing to give up his honors for me. I was touched for a long time. I didn't want to let him down, so when I went to represent the school, I didn't stop practicing. I didn't even eat. During that time, Aiden kept arguing with me. He said, "You care more about the English contest than you do about me. Did you forget that I gave you that spot?" Since I was in debt to him, I had to please him. I worked day and night until I got a high fever after the competition. But I later found out. He didn't like chicken legs. He was only good at written English, but his spoken English was bad. I didn't go back to my internship. Aiden heard about it. He curled his lips and said, "I don't care, don't tell me." I think she was just slacking off at the company, and they found out that she wasn't good, so she got fired. A roommate told me about it. After hearing that, I said, "Thank you, but you don't have to tell me about him." My two roommates were worried about me. Graduation was coming up, but I didn't have a job. Not only that, but I didn't have a boyfriend either. I said, "It's okay, don't worry. I'm sure something will come up." Since I had left my internship, I couldn't transfer to the branch in Austin. But I contacted the person in Austin and said that I wanted to have another interview. I wasn't confident, but I had to try. I needed to keep my options open. I also applied to several other companies, and a former coworker was willing to help me get an internal recommendation. While I was busy looking for a job, Aiden and Chelsea were all over campus. Chelsea said, "Aiden is pursuing me, but I haven't said yes yet." I always turned away when I saw them. I knew that I was being useless. But I couldn't just walk by without looking away. It wasn't easy to get over a boyfriend that I had been with for a whole college career. But I had to adapt. I had to get used to the life without Aiden. In the next few days, I was extremely busy. Submitting resumes, taking tests, and attending interviews almost took up all my time. As time went by, I thought about Aiden less and less. Once, I was walking while memorizing some interview points, and I bumped into Aiden and Chelsea without realizing it. When I realized it, I hadn't thought about Aiden in a long time. When I heard his name again, I didn't feel much anymore. I was getting better, but then I got a call from Aiden late at night. He said, "Are you serious?" Chapter 5. There was no real or fake breakup. Every time we broke up, I would beg him to get back together. I repeatedly added him and apologized over and over again. Aiden only needed to put on a show and then say, "Don't do it again." But this time, I didn't want to. On the phone, Aiden coldly said, "Since you want to break up, give me back all the things that I gave you." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. We were a normal couple, exchanging gifts. I gave him sneakers, and he gave me a bracelet. I gave him a phone, and he gave me a computer. Now, my computer has all my important files. My thesis, contracts, resume, experiment results, project files, and so on. Aiden saw that I didn't speak for a long time, and sneered. "What's wrong? Are you not willing to give them back? I didn't know that you loved taking advantage." He doesn't want to break up, he's trying his best to make up. He's really difficult to deal with. Sarah doesn't best to make up. He's really difficult to deal with. Sarah doesn't even know how much he likes the sneakers that she gave him, and he never leaves his phone. Sarah, just apologize. He felt bad for a long time after the incident with that girl, and he wanted to contact you but he was afraid. He's right there, waiting for you, and he's about to cry. Was it an act, or was it real? I thought about the photos that Chelsea had sent me. I didn't have the energy to think about it, so I nodded and said to Aiden, "Okay, I'll give them back to you tomorrow." The person on the phone choked up. Soon, Aiden's voice came, "No, give them back." To me now, he was doing it on purpose. He knew that I didn't have time to buy a new computer. But the comments said, he can't wait to see her. He doesn't even want the computer, he's just waiting for her to say that she doesn't want him to take it back, so that he can ask her to beg him. I suddenly realized those comments couldn't see things as clearly as I could. I smiled and said, "Then give me back what I gave you. The phone and the sneakers, that's all I want." After saying that, I added, "Now. Sarah, are you crazy? How can I give you the phone now?" I interrupted Aiden, "Then let's meet at the dorm at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning." After saying that, I hung up. I didn't look at the comments accusing me of being heartless. There were a few that sided with me, but they were quickly drowned out. I looked at the offer that I just received, and I couldn't help but laugh. A top company in Austin. The salary and benefits were better than the company that I had interned at. I wouldn't have any contact with Aiden in the future. Chapter 6. I bought a hard drive and copied the files into it that night. Early the next morning, I was holding the computer and waiting downstairs at the dorm. At 8:30, Aiden finally arrived. He wasn't alone, Chelsea was with him. Chelsea was holding Aiden's arm, showing off her claim. You've already broken up, why are you meeting up? Do you think I don't know what you're trying to do? It's just a phone, anyone can buy one, do you want to use it to threaten him to get back together? You should be ashamed. Aiden stood there with a cold face, saying nothing. I ignored Chelsea and put the computer bag in Aiden's hands. But then, Chelsea suddenly pushed me away. What are you doing? Don't touch me. I took 2 steps back and fell on the ground. The pebbles were digging into my hand, and I felt dizzy. I didn't sleep all night, I was busy copying files and cleaning the computer. I didn't even react when Chelsea pushed me. Chelsea yelled, don't pretend. Aiden is watching. Aiden was standing there and didn't say anything. Until Chelsea asked him to vouch for her, he said, stop acting, it's not interesting. I got up myself and dusted off my clothes. Before they could react, I raised my hand and slapped Chelsea across the face. That's for the last time. Chelsea stared at me and ran into Aiden's arms. She dared to hit me. Hit her back. I clenched my hands and stood my ground. I glared at Aiden. If he dared to do anything, I would kick him in his most vulnerable area. Aiden seemed to be stung by my gaze. He said, do you think I'll hit you? What else would he do? Aiden pursed his lips, you're a nasty person. Just that one sentence caused a lot of comments to come, they're so cute, he'd never hurt her. Just not hitting someone was enough to be cute. The standard was too low. Chelsea glanced at me and suddenly thought of something. The next moment, she threw a phone at me. Here, take it if you want it. I barely dodged it. The phone that I had given to Aiden was on the ground. On the phone screen, there was a picture of me and Aiden. That summer, we took a picture with him. Aiden was frowning, but I was smiling. The phone flashed twice, and then the screen went black. It seemed like a foreshadowing of the ending of my relationship. That's fine. I turned to leave. Wait, Aiden suddenly spoke. I stopped. The comments came again. He finally couldn't hold back. Sarah, he's willing to lower his head, so why don't you try to get back together? But Aiden didn't say anything else. I was getting impatient, so I started to leave when Chelsea suddenly spoke. Are you just going to leave? What did that mean? Chelsea walked up to me, looked me up and down, and reached out her hand. You were bothering Aiden for so long, so he couldn't have only given you that much, right? You're probably trying to hide it for yourself? I looked up. Aiden didn't say anything, he seemed to be agreeing with Chelsea. I smiled and said to him, the bracelet you gave me, I put it in the computer bag. The sneakers that you're wearing, shouldn't you take them off and give them back to me? After I said that, Aiden's face turned dark. Is that necessary? I nodded. It's necessary. Okay, I'll give them back to you in 2 days. I knew why Aiden wanted to pick the day after tomorrow. The day after tomorrow, he was going to participate in a basketball game during the graduation season. Even though it was just a game, he wanted to win. These sneakers were good, and he was used to wearing them. But I couldn't. My flight to Austin was the day after tomorrow. I wanted to start my new job. So, I smiled and shook my head. Sorry, I can't wait. I don't have time to wait for you. Chapter 7. New city, new beginning. I wanted to start working early, but my manager rejected me. She said, you'll have plenty of time to work in the future, so don't be in such a rush. I didn't understand what that meant, but I realized it later. I saw on social media that Chelsea bought new sneakers for Aiden. She wrote, out with the old, in with the new. Chelsea posted a lot of pictures of her, and when people asked what their relationship was, Chelsea posted an embarrassed emoji. A lot of classmates posted, congratulations. After another period of time, Aiden took Chelsea to see his mom. We had been together for 3 years, but he never took me to see her. I thought that we shouldn't have been together in the first place. I was glad that it was over. I went to Six Flags by myself, and the line was short. Before I started working, I went to all the places that I didn't get to go to because of Aiden. He didn't think that the sunrise and sunset were interesting, but I went and watched them multiple times. He didn't like the claw machine, but I spent an afternoon there. But I didn't win. I rented an apartment near my office, and I felt happy every day. It turns out that the tourists who helped me were also from Shanghai. I forgot to mention that. There were good and bad people in a place, so you can't hate a city because of one person. So, I still liked Shanghai. I will go back in the future. We met up in Austin and had fun for 2 days. My start date was getting closer, and I was getting nervous. One night, Aiden liked a photo of me at Six Flags. He had added me back. After a few minutes, he unliked it. Then, he liked it again. I was busy worrying about what to wear to work tomorrow, so I didn't have time for this. I just deleted him. Chapter 8. I had been working for half a month. There was a guy who started around the same time as me. His name was Michael Smith. He was different from Aiden. He was energetic, lively, and outgoing. He told me that he liked me. He was straightforward and daring. I blushed. I said, I just broke up. If you don't mind, we can try it out. Michael nodded. I don't mind. We had been dating for a month, and I posted a picture of me and Michael. He had already posted it, and he even set my picture as his background. I thought it was childish, but it made me happy. These were just small things in a relationship. A lot of couples were like that. But I was happy. Maybe it was because I had never experienced that with Aiden. When I was in my first relationship, I always worried. I wanted Aiden to show that I was his girlfriend. But Aiden didn't want to. He said, do you think that you're good looking? If I post you on social media, people will laugh at me. I had just started college, and I didn't know how to put on makeup or how to dress up. He was good at academics, but he was very bad at everything else. A lot of the girls that Aiden knew were stylish and beautiful, so I often felt insecure. I had told Aiden what I thought, hoping that he would comfort me, but he said, "I don't care about your face. If I cared about your face, I wouldn't be dating you." If the comments appeared at that time, it would tell me that Aiden didn't mean it. But did that matter? I didn't know what he was thinking. But what he did to me was real. I was insecure for a long time. It was my roommate who kept praising me. It was girls who told me that I was pretty. That made me more confident. I didn't want to be a beauty, but at least I wanted someone to tell me that I was pretty. The night that I posted it on social media, Aiden called me. There was only breathing on the phone. After a long time, Aiden spoke. "When are you coming back?" He was saying it like I was the one who left him. I said, "I'm not going back." The comments appeared. He didn't think they had broken up. Sarah already moved on. I don't care, they both have someone. He wasn't a cheater. Aiden interrupted the comments. "Sarah, you can't do this. I'm not dating Chelsea." The comments that stood by Aiden were happy. It was like all the wrong was on me. But it didn't matter. I said, "Aiden, you can be with whoever you want, we're already over." Aiden shouted, "No, we didn't break up. I didn't agree to it." My voice turned cold. "You're the one who brought it up. You're the one who deleted me. You're the one who made me get fired." Aiden didn't say anything. At that time, Michael shouted from the bathroom, "Babe, I bought new shower gel. It smells like you." Aiden asked, "Are you two living together?" We weren't living together, but it was late, so I was staying in the guest room. Michael had changed everything to new. But I didn't need to explain that to Aiden. Aiden found something, and screamed, "Sarah, you're cheating on me, you're cuckolding me. You didn't know him for long, but you were in a rush to sleep with him, you never told me that you were so horny." Hearing his words, I sighed, "Aiden, don't make me regret being with you." After saying that, I hung up. But Aiden became even more crazy. He posted our video on the internet. Chapter 9. Title: Whore is cheating on her boyfriend. When I saw it, I felt like I had been thrown into cold water. I had a headache. When we were in love, Aiden asked me to film one video. Only one video. The only good news was that he didn't post it online, he just took a few pictures and blurred them. But he kept my jaw and my mole, and he wrote my name in the comments. Underneath that were a lot of men asking for the whole thing. Michael immediately saw that I was upset, and he went to call the police. The comments started blaming Aiden. I can't believe he was the man in the story. The processing period for cross-regional incident was long. In order to avoid causing more problems, I went back to Shanghai. He saw me at that moment. He pretended not to care and said, "Who is that?" I didn't say anything to him, and I slapped him. Aiden stood there and said, "I just want you to break up with that guy." I said, "You make me sick." He deleted the video. Aiden wanted to grab my hand. "You came to me for that?" "Yes, and I'm here to tell you that I'm suing you." He said, "Are you really going to do that to me?" I was blind. "Don't touch me." I walked away, and Aiden was still there. Chapter 10. Aiden went to Austin. I don't know if he didn't want me to sue him. He was always near my company. He started doing things that he didn't do before. He even unadded Chelsea. He said that he realized his mistakes, and he wanted to start over with me. Michael wanted to grab him, but I pulled him back. Aiden's parents had contacted me, and they were willing to pay money to settle it. The lawyer told me that it wouldn't be worth it. I said that I wanted him to never see him again. Aiden's parents took him away. Aiden shouted, "Why won't you give me a chance?" He said to Michael, "I love you. We're not living together." I didn't want to see him again. A few months later, the comments disappeared. Michael and I broke up. It was his idea. He said that Aiden gave him the video, and she couldn't accept it. It was expected. I smiled and didn't blame him. He helped me out of his shadow. I just didn't want to stay. I cried for one day, but the next day I had to go to work. I had to work. The future was more important than him. Aiden showed me what a healthy relationship was. I washed my face. My cat meowed and took me to the door. I opened the door and walked out. It was a nice day. The end. And that's a wrap on today's reading here at Booked for Drama. If you felt anything, rage, swoon, secondhand heartbreak, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your fellow drama lovers. If you have any requests, drop them in the comments. Until next time, keep reading, and keep the drama on the page.